Previously on the Frontier Farmer. We've broken through into spring now. You can see the sugar mill in the distance, and I look forward to seeing how much sugar they have for us. Ooh, fancy. Sweet home refined sugar. Very nice. But we'll get this over to the dairy. Milk deposited in. So let's get our chocolate underway. So yes, we'll lime up farm side field, and then once we're finished, we will manure spread burr field. Crikey, this is quite a bit bigger than I was expecting. It is a direct planter. Right, let's get the sugar beets in. One word, and that is fantastic. So let's layer away and plant our sunflowers. There you go, fellas. Wheel loader is here. But yeah, looks like you're doing a grand old job clearing this out. We will have to see what next month has in store. I'm imagining some weeding and potentially helping out the settlers at the settler farm. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. It is now April, and I'm starting in the farm hall this morning, because good news, we've had some germination of our planted crops that we put in last month. The sunflowers that are in farm side field, which you can see between the silo and the shed over there, and also the sugar beets that are in the field. But unfortunately, because we have just planted them, they are in need of some weeding. So I've got the sprayer attached, and we'll reverse up to the silo so we can get filled up with herbicide. And I'm off to spray them first thing this morning, because we want to be rid of those pesky weeds. And yes, the spraying needs to be done in burr field because that was not ploughed. And we have a degree of weeding to cover in one end of farm side field because, yes, we created and fixed a portion of this field, but it was only cultivated, it wasn't really ploughed, so some weeds have appeared. So we're going to get that seen to first of all, and I think I'll start with a farm side field. So we don't need to do all of this field, but the top section, which we'll get covered off. So I think I'm going to weave my way through and around here and get both farm side field and burr field all sprayed up. folding away. And that is the herbicide spraying all done in both Farmside and Burfield. Now I did clash with the rock a little bit in Burfield, but not to worry. And yes, we only needed to do one portion of Farmside field because only the top section was newly created and was not properly ploughed to the right level, so it did need weeding. And of course Burfield, the last crop we had in there I think was soybeans, and we didn't need to plough after that, but we could plant our sugar beets. But yes, all the fields will probably need ploughing after the current crop they've got in them. But we're going to park up the sprayer, and the next job is heading over to the Settler Farm site, where I have heard all the trees have been cut down and they've been busy hauling logs to the wood storage yard. So we only have a few left to go and help them with, and the plan is that hopefully we are going to start the construction of the Settler Farm. So I think we'll leave the farm all here, and potentially we can give the cows a bit of a TMR top up if they need it, and we'll walk over to the Settler Farm site because I think we potentially might be helping them out with the wheel loading of the logs. There we go, bit of extra TMR in there for the cows, good stuff. So we can shut down and walk over the bridge to the Settler Farm site. Ah, it's always nice being in the forest in spring and summertime. Now we're coming up on the left turn to the farm site, and oh, here we go. What is this? A big truckload full of logs heading to our wood storage yard. They did say that they have been busy, so I guess they'll get unloaded, and whilst they are, let's go and check out how this site is looking. Cool, well that is in stark contrast to how it was the month before. We still had probably a third of the trees remaining and a lot of logs laying on the ground. That looks to have all been loaded up. The bulldozer's still here, but it looks like the settlers have constructed a makeshift ramp to help load up the logs into the trailer. They've been borrowing our Volvo wheel loader, and looks like it's been hard at work. And interesting, they have stacked the logs in two separate piles. I think this looks to be, yes, that is spruce. So yep, they've got the spruce logs over on this side, and I think this looks like pine. Yes, pine. So this is the only wood they have left, and kind of looks like these guys are taking a bit of a break. So when the log truck returns, perhaps we will load up the remaining logs, and that'll be all the site cleared. There we go, the truck has returned, and I think it's mostly lined up with the platform. Maybe we do need to shunt it forward a little bit. There we go. So we'll leave that there and hop in the wheel loader. And this is a little bit of a blast from the past, because back in the early homestead days, we did use the wheel loader and a ramp very similar to this to load up logs onto the log trailer. So here we are yet again, and yes, I think I'm going to start with the heavier spruce logs. I think we can do 3 at a time with this log fork. So I am going to try and get all these loaded. There we go. Let's get some shunting going on, some wiggling. And oh, we've got 3 logs. Perfect. So I'm going to get the spruces loaded up first. They're the heavier ones, and then we'll move on to the pine. And yes, hopefully we can get this trailer full and all of these logs cleared. would you? Look at that. All the logs are loaded nicely. And it seemed to fit in a trailer's worth, so that is good. So the piles are now empty. And whilst we take this load over to the wood storage yard, and afterwards we'll take the Volvo back to the homestead, I think the settlers are going to deconstruct these wooden poles and also the ramp to make way for us to start creating the settler farm. So we'll fire up, get the logs all lashed, and do the short journey over to Riverways to get these logs dropped off in the wood storage yard. Over the bridge, and we should just be able to park up here and get our logs unloaded. As easy as that. Right, I think we can leave the log trailer here, and we'll take the Riverways truck over to the low loader and probably take the opportunity to get the bulldozer and the forestry machine out of the settler farm site, so we've got room to build what we need to build. So around the roundabout is the low loader. This is what we want, so we can load up the forestry machine and also the bulldozer. And I think we will start by getting the forestry machine loaded. So ramp down. The ramp we go. There we go. Bulldozer up the ramp as well. Ramps up because we are fully laden. And I think we will place this trailer with both pieces of equipment just in the Riverways production zone for now, because we will probably need them again in the future. A bit slow because it's a heavy load. But I think behind our wood storage and distribution center will work for now. So let's just stop there and park up. Okay, gents. Well, I'm going to run the wheel loader back to the homestead if you're happy to get rid of this ramp and clear down the wooden poles so we can do the settler farm construction this afternoon. Alright, sounds good. Let's climb down from the ramp and get this back to the homestead. And I look forward to doing some construction of the settler farm. I'm thinking we are going to need some form of office, not a farmhouse, because all of the settlers live just across the water over the bridge. But yes, we will need some form of building to be a farm office, and then we'll need some sheds for parking all the various bits of equipment. And I've been running through all the equipment I think that we have to donate. I think the Lands Bulldog, which was originally Tim Burr's, now is not really required at the sawmill because Thomas has modernised it somewhat with generators and other bits of machinery. So I think the Lands Bulldog is going to be a donated tractor to the settler farm, plus a few bits of our smaller equipment, ploughs, harrows. We've got some tedding and windrowing equipment that we no longer use. So I think all of that is going to wind its way over to the settler farm, and we of course need to come up with a name for our new settler farm, and I have something in mind which I'll run past you once we have created the settler farm. But let's drop the log fork off here and get the Volvo parked up, and we can get over there to get building. Now, one thing that I think we are going to donate to the settler farm as well is this pickup truck. Now, we did purchase this and it's done a good job up until now, but for us I think it is slightly under horsepowered for some of the loads we need to pull. So yes, I think we are going to donate this to the settler farm and they can use it as a bit of a runaround vehicle and put anything in the back that they need to. So we're back with the pickup, and I think we will just park up in this entranceway here and get to constructing. And there we go. Construction complete. And we've placed a nice little gate here, which is just a rustic log gate. There we go, that's opened now. And here is our very quaint settler farm. As mentioned, we've got a office here, which, yeah, I guess could be stayed in if needed to. But yes, it's going to function as a settler farm office to, control the admin and make sure that we're in good contact with them. And yes, they can pick up the weather from the antenna there. Super, right, we've got our sheds down this way, and to the right is where the fields are going to go, and I'm thinking 2 fields. But yes, over to the one side we've got the sheds, which allow a good sort of track run down here where we can park up equipment. The first shed is a modular shed, and I think I'm going to construct the walls whilst we are here. And if I come in this way, I think, yes, there we go, that is one wall. Then there's another. Put the rear wall in. And rear wall over here. And 2 side panels there. We'll keep the centre nice and clear so we've got space to put the equipment in, but that is good. Then we have 2 sets of 3 bay sheds. These are what we have over at the homestead as well, and we'll probably house some of our smaller equipment. And then we've got, oh, there was a deer hidden in there. Sorry dear, I didn't mean to scare you. All this activity in the dark forest is probably scaring all the animals away. It does make me feel guilty. But yes, we have 2 tool sheds here for some of the bigger pieces of equipment, like the harvester that we're going to donate. And there's a little square space down here if we wanted to put a bunker or more sheds in the future. But yep, over here we've got space for, well, either one big field, but I think I'm going to do 2 smaller fields worth of space, and we're going to use up the whole area. And yes, it's going to be predominantly a field farm to begin with, no animals, because we've got plenty of animals over in our homestead. So yeah, let's park up the pickup for use on the farm, and then I think what we will do is head back to the homestead, grab the Lands Bulldog, which is the tractor that we are donating, and I think we will grab one of the cultivators to mark out the fields. Now I will be kind of creating the fields with the cultivator, but we will return in a future date to get them ploughed up. And I'm not forgetting that when we had the tractor run here at the Dark Forest, we did have some willing volunteers who said they would make the trip back to help us with ploughing. So I think we are probably going to put a call into some of those folk and hopefully arrange for them to come next month. But yeah, we did ask whether there was particular tractors we wanted to come back, and also if there were any tractors that we could buy. So I'm all ears as to what tractors we could look to buy for the settler farm. Go the Lands Bulldog. So let's hop in and start the rather long startup process. There we go, I think that's all started up. So let's head over to grab one of the pieces of equipment we are going to mark out the fields with. I think it is one of our arrows. But yes, I obtained this tractor from Tim Burr back in the day when Tim was on the homestead. And yes, he kind of had this as a collector's piece, but it proved to be quite valuable when we ploughed up some of the early fields on the homestead. So I think he will be happy that it's going to go to a good home and be part of the settler farm, which we still need to name, by the way. And I think we will place a nice sign to launch the settler farm and give it a nice name. Right, here it is, the small harrow that we want to just mark out the fields. Get that hitched onto the back and take it over to the settler farm. Over the bridge. And the plan really is that the settler farm is going to be self-sustaining, self-running, and we'll only get involved if we need to and if the settlers need our help. But the main aim of it really is to be another self-sufficient farm in the Dark Forest. We are at the track entrance, I think let's place the sign to name the settler farm. And there we go. Westcreek is the name I have opted for, and the reason is, as you'll see on the map, we have quite a bit of water around the dark forest. There is a river that runs down here to the lake, and we have two little creeks that run off it, one to the east and one to the west, and our settler farm is based around here, so Westcreek Farm it is. Fantastic. But let's hop back in the John Deere lands and we can head on in. Now, as mentioned, we are going to be doing 2 fields, and I will be marking them up to be ploughed at a later date by some of our settler farmers. But yes, we need to really give them a helping hand. They have asked if we can mark out the fields to give them a bit of a steer of how things are going to work. So we will get unfolded here, and if we lower down, yep, there we go, we are actually marking out a bit of a field for them. So this is not ploughed ground, but it is at least marking out the field ready for them to come along and plough later. So I'm going to get busy marking this out, 2 fields, and then yes, we can inspect. There'll only be small fields to begin with, and maybe the settler farm, Westcreek, will expand in the future. And there we go, raising the harrow up, and we can fold it away, and that is our 2 fields marked out. Now yes, it is just shuffled the ground around at the top so we can clearly see where the field is going to be, but we do need to come along and plough it, which we will do next month, and I'm hoping we can plough and get the fields prepped so we do actually have the opportunity to put some crops in, which next month will probably be our last opportunity until later in the season. So yeah, if we don't have enough time, maybe we could put some winter barley or winter wheat in later in the crop season, but I'm hoping in May we should still be able to drill some crops like sorghum. So yeah, that's kind of a mission really, to get those fields ploughed up, prepped and drilled, so we have a crop for the season. That's the John Deere lands shut down now, and I think it's fair to say that our settler farm, Westcreek, has started to take shape, which is fantastic. 2 fields marked out, and yes, I think they definitely are sort of building off of our shoulders. We were not able to create fields this big when we first started the Dark Forest homestead because we simply did not have the equipment or the know-how or the ability to clear such a space, but obviously the settlers have had use of the forestry machine and then our skills and our equipment to get this all laid out nicely. So I've just got off the phone and left a message for some of our tractor run friends to see who's available next month to come and help us out with the ploughing. We'll have to wait and see who we hear from. And I've also left a note for our settler farmers to inform them what we've been up to today and the 2 fields that we have marked out. But yeah, I think we can leave Westcreek for now. We will close up the fence, which doesn't go all the way around at the moment, but it's enough to stop any unwanted vehicles coming in there. But fantastic! Westcreek farm is up and functioning. Of course, we still need to drill a crop and get a few other bits of equipment into there to get it fully set up, but it is at least underway, which is good news. I really am looking forward to seeing how Westcreek Farm is going to progress in the future, and I'm thinking it's going to be a strong partner for our very own homestead, which of course keeps us busy the majority of the time. So the settler farm, Westcreek, will be fairly autonomous, but it'll be nice to see how they get on and how we can help out in the future. But that is it for today. Hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe. If you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, hope to see you again next time on the Frontier Farmer. And until then, catch you later. Cheers all. Bye bye.